Luc Bouchard with Solve Act Life Coaching Services. I've been a certified life skills coach for 22 years, and I specialize in men's issues, what keeps them stuck, and how they deal with being powerless and feeling out of control. Welcome. Today is the 48th day of the 72-day challenge. We're in the 7th week, and the weekly theme is masculinity. Our daily focus is emotionality, or how men deal with emotions, and the topic is men's need to fix problems. We certainly have heard a lot about men needing to fix problems and how they have to, deal with stuff and take charge and do those type of things. And I think for the most part, it's a stereotype that's true, that men in a lot of ways really have to feel like they've got to take over a situation or solve a problem. And the author that really shone a light on this a lot was John Gray in his book, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. And the reason that book was such a bestseller, a monster seller, and made so much money and did so many sales is that it was really a very succinct way of looking at masculinity and femininity, male behavior and female behavior, and really illustrated the differences between the two, because it was able to hold female behavior up and then male behavior up and go, this is what men do and this is what women do, and and how they sometimes run into conflicts. And one of the things that Gray talked a lot about was men's need to fix things and women's need to just be heard and understood. And that is really, I think, important to understand about male behavior. I'm not going to say it's the be-all and end-all, but why is it that men need to fix problems? Why is it that they need to take ownership of things that maybe they have no responsibility for? And simply it comes down to empowerment, that they feel better about themselves when they can actually do things that are going to control their external world and whatnot. Because when men can't solve problems that they want to solve, or they think problems that they can solve, or problems that they have ownership on, they feel disempowered, they feel stuck, and they feel less than. Conversely, if they're allowed to solve problems that they think are theirs, then they feel empowered, valued, they feel like they're helpful, they feel like they have some sort of power and control over the world. And again, power and control is really about feeling like you can manage your environment, that you can solve things externally. And if solving things externally makes you feel better internally, then that's really about the fact that you need to feel better about yourself by doing something, as opposed to being stuck with the emotions and the feelings that you just don't like feeling. So, are we going externally to make ourselves feel better? And where this really becomes I'm going to suggest a problem for men is when they can't do something to make themselves feel better, if they're feeling disempowered, if they're in a situation where they really can't do anything, if they're, I don't know, I don't want to come up with any kind of artificial or situations, but if they are feeling like they have to wait when they don't want to wait, or they have to just be patient when they don't want to be patient, they want to take action and do stuff, and that's just really not called for, then what do they do with that? And how do they manage that? And how do they handle that when really they're so used to going out and doing and managing their external world? And some men cope with that via addictions. They don't like feeling disempowered, so they try and numb out and not feel that. Other men do things just by being active and doing other stuff, or avoidance, or not even paying attention, just being gone emotionally on that, so that they don't have to deal with the feelings that come up with that. And the question I ask you, gentlemen, is how do you deal with stuff when you can't solve a problem? How do you empower yourself when you can't empower yourself? When it's not appropriate to empower yourself? When you just have to when something just has to sit with you? It's not a great place, especially if you've always been able to take charge and do stuff. And this all comes down to really about how we make ourselves feel better. And if we're not used to those emotions that don't feel good and those feelings that we don't like dealing with, and we're always masking them through being doers as opposed to being, human being versus human doing, or human doing versus human being, then when those situations come up, you're not going to have the skill sets to deal with them, because it's a skill set just to be dealing with stuff that doesn't feel good. And if we're always avoiding it, and we've always been taught to avoid it, then no wonder we don't know how to deal with it. So I just throw that out there for your consideration about, why do you really need to solve problems, especially if they're not yours to solve? What's really going on when you need to take charge? I know for me, it's false empowerment. So I feel better about myself. So I feel like I can control a situation that is maybe uncontrollable. And I just have you think about that. Luc Bouchard with Solve Act Life Coaching Services. I've been a certified life skills coach for 22 years, and I specialize in false empowerment. I have for a while, and I'm getting better, because I look at, really, it doesn't help if I'm just basically doing things to make myself feel better, but that affects everyone else around me, which is also another issue. If you're doing it for your needs and you're not helping the people around you, that's kind of selfish also. You have a great day, and tomorrow we're going to, in the 49th video, it's going to be the life skills process. Take care.